Hello and welcome to the stunning tropical island of Mauritius, which is this year's setting for the world's strongest man. This, the second week of competition, promises to be just as dramatic as Heat 1, where Magnus Arnason, last year's winner, and the dark horse from Finland, Jorma Ojanaho, managed to claim their places in the final. Now, this week, the mighty power of Gerrit Badenhorst, who was last year's second place, is pitched against, amongst others, Forbes Cowan from Scotland, who's returned to the competition looking fitter and stronger than ever before. For more details on the competitors, here's Paul Dickinson.
Thanks very much, Philippa. So 6 more strong men taking part in 4 very demanding events. Each one of them is going to test them to the limit. The scoring, of course, is straightforward. If you win an event, you get 6 points. It's 5 for second place, down to just 1 point if you come 6th. But as we saw last week, mistakes can be very costly indeed, with only 2 places in the final at stake. Well, as you've heard already, there's British interest in this heat, but first of all, we're going to meet that man who was second last year. He's one of the most experienced guys around. It's Gerrit Badenhorst from South Africa.
Gerrit gave his greatest performance ever in the Bahamas despite carrying all sorts of injuries. Can he stay in one piece this year? Hjalti Arnason has desperately tried in the past to be a competitor in this competition. This year he's made it yet another Icelandic strongman. Forbes Cowan is Scotland's big hopeful for the title. If he can conquer his nerves during these heats, some say he could go all the way. Bill Lyndon has dropped his nickname Koala. He says it makes him sound soft and cuddly. He's so big, perhaps we should call him Ayers Rock. Phil Martin's got a nickname he's happy with, Stonehenge. No reflection on his age, more a question of his love of lifting anything heavy. And finally, Evgeny Popov is delighted to be Bulgaria's first ever contestant in World's Strongest Man. This man is a legend in the world of weightlifting.
And this mighty clan gather at Le Coco Beach Hotel on the east coast of Paradise, where the sweating starts in the first event, Samson's Barrow, which isn't such light work as it sounds. This truck weighs 1.5 tons.
Gerrit, the first event is about to start. How has your preparation gone this year?
Not very well. I struggled this year a lot with little injuries. The one from last year took me about 4 months, but as I say, when you stand there on the line and it's your chance, that's the time that you must perform.
Now there are some very tough competitors in this heat. What do you know about them?
Well, no, Badenhorst, he's one of the old timers. He doesn't make mistakes, so I'll be chasing him. There's a couple of new people who are very strong as well, so I mean, it's the same old story, don't make mistakes or you've had it.
And this is one of the new men enjoying the experience and keen to get away to the best possible start. Evgeny Popov from Bulgaria.
Ready? Put brake off.
Oh, Billy the driver taking the brakes off and away we go. The first part of the test, a massive deadlift, getting the back wheels off the ground, and then the walk over 25 meters. Trying to keep the whole thing balanced. Popov totally at home on an Olympic weightlifting stage, but this is so different. Oh, he's down. Now this is not a good start. He can continue. There's 90 seconds in all to complete the course. He's struggling a little bit now. He's close to the line and the front end of the car has to go across. 54.37 seconds, even with those 2 mistakes. Exhausted, the car goes back for the next man.
What was the most difficult part of that event?
The breath. I have power, but I have no breath. It's quite different from my exercise. But I finished.
Phil Martin next, a really massive man at almost 26 stones.
Look.
1.5 tons of car and away we go. Oh, he's off balance already. Now the handbrake goes on there, so there's no advantage in trying to push the car along. Well, a disappointing start for the American, looking very tough already. He's all over the place. Bill Lyndon, the Australian, is next to go. And there's Popov's time to beat, 54.37. There's no way Phil Martin's going to achieve that. I think he's had enough. A very disappointing start for one of last year's finalists, and the crowd sympathetic with their applause.
problems, Phil?
Well, no, I've never really completed a Samson's barrel, so I was hoping to do better than that, but there's 3 events left, so
Let's just
if I win the next 3.
Let's have a look at your hands. Now, the big problem surely is going to be how can you recover for the next few events?
I'll just have to put it out of my mind and go.
That's one of the hazards of strong men. The grip is so important in this event, and Phil's hands are ripped to shreds. So Bill Lyndon gets away well over the first 10 metres. He's so keen to do a good job, having seen fellow Aussie Nathan Jones eliminated in the last heat. He's got to keep his body close to that truck. He gets up again very quickly. Oh, and down again in spectacular fashion. His left hand seemed to be sticking to the handle. Now, can he recover from that? He's got a fair way to go and not a lot of time to do it in. And this event looking much more difficult than we thought. I think Bill is finished. He's ahead of Martin, but Popov is still leading. The first appearance of Forbes Cowan, and the best crowd for any of the events we've had so far. And they're really trying to encourage these guys.
Foot brake. Left.
I think Forbes is looking forward to this event. He's got a bit of a reputation for carrying heavy stuff quickly. And he's looking comfortable, that's for sure. Always happy on 2 wheels. He's a bit of a motorbike fanatic. And this is certainly the most impressive walk down the course we've had so far. He's going to destroy Evgeny's time. Look at the clock. 20.99 seconds, and he keeps going through the line. That's warmed the spectators up, and Forbes' girlfriend, Angela.
In a funny sort of way, I know these events hurt, but did you enjoy that one?
Enjoy it. An event starts to hurt me, I enjoy it even more.
Well, the next man is not afraid of pain either. Hjalti Arnason of Iceland. For so long now, this man has had to be content with living in the shadow of countryman Magnus Sverre Magnusson, and occasionally being a tester in these events in the practice rounds, but he's not going to be happy with that start. Now then, Billy the driver has been bumped around enough today, thank you very much. Strength in the back and shoulders is so important. He's closing on Lyndon's mark. Come on now, Hjalti. That's Magnusson shouting for his man. Oh, just outside a minute. He's staggering all over the place. In 3rd position. Well, it's the Rainbow Nation next. South Africa's Gerrit Badenhorst. And Gerrit runner-up last year, but to beat Cowan's time, he needs to do something a bit special here. The initial lift won't be a problem. He's a former world record holder for the deadlift. And he's huffing and puffing just a little bit, but going well. Cowan's time on the screen, and the Scot hoping to hang on to 1st place. Well, he's obviously done that. Now, how far and how fast can Badenhorst get? Can he beat Popov's time of 54.39? It doesn't look as though he's going to do that either. Gerrit has certainly lost his composure. Just a metre short of the line now. One more heave. And he's gone into 3rd place.
Well, you'll have seen poor Billy, who had to sit in the truck during all that, but you won't have noticed the smile on his face when he knew the result. He's a Scot.
I knew Gerrit was fast and very strong, but I had a problem with his grip. I just didn't know if his grip was going to hold out over the 30 metres, and it didn't. If he had held on, he could have pushed me for 1st place.
Maritime Medley is event 2. Lovely sounding name, but actually a really tough event. And size seems to matter as much as strength here. Now, the nautical objects which make up Maritime Medley are down here. The sack, the keg, the mast, the anchor and the chain. They all have to be placed on this wall in order. And as you can see, the platforms here are at different levels. So if you're taller, it might be in your favour. Well, we'll soon see. But the other thing is that none of these objects are straightforward to lift. Each link in that chain weighs 50 kilos, which is about the same as a small fridge, something none of us would even think about picking up. But then, to be honest, none of these men are quite like any of us.
That's very true. Just look at Bill Lyndon's physique. There's no spare tyres there, and he and Phil Martin complete the 1st double act.
Stand by. Ready.
Well, these are two of the biggest men in the competition, but I wonder how their stamina is going to hold out. By the time they get to the heaviest object, the chain, they're going to be exhausted. The 90-kilo sack went up safely. Now to the barrel, only 60 kilos, but very awkward to lift. And now onto the mast. 110 kilos, 17 stones, and Phil Martin having problems. Lyndon is streaking ahead now. The temperature out there way up in the 90s. Now to the anchor, and Bill like a raging bull. Phil Martin just managing to sort out the mast. It's a very good show by the Australian. He's in 5th place after the first event. Phil Lyndon very nearly finished, but a couple of problems there. Phil Martin recovering quite well. The chain is so awkward, 550 pounds in total. That should be just about enough. The clock stops at 109.48. Martin is defeated. Oh, he's looking exhausted. And that's not going to endear him to the crowd. Certainly Martin's frustration silenced the crowd, but they're going to warm up to the next pair. Gerrit Badenhorst and Hjalti Arnason on the far side from Iceland. Arnason, rough and tough.
Ready?
Badenhorst on this near side, always determined and a real showman. Now this first object, the sack, is where it all went wrong for Gary Taylor in the final last year. Iceland just ahead at the moment. This is fast. This is level pegging. Oh, and Arnason nearly had the barrel off with the mast, and he's dropped it. That's Gerrit's wife, Olivia. She's going to give him what for if he slows down. Hjalti is miles behind now, just getting to grips with the mast. And the Springbok is streaking ahead. Just the chains left for Gerrit Badenhorst now. A quarter of a ton. And look at the time. It's 1:09 to beat, and there's no doubt he's going to do it. Arnason on the far side, he's on the last leg. Still under a minute, 59.06. Fantastic. Hjalti looking totally exhausted once again. He could even run out of time, and that means the officials keep a check on when he landed the anchor to compare that with Phil Martin to work out the places. Oh, he's absolutely wrecked. No more.
Your wife was watching. She said she wished you'd take up something a bit gentler, like tennis.
No, I don't think I will. I've got the right temperament for that.
Finally, it's Cowan and Popov. Oh, both men getting away to a cracking start, almost sprinting to the first obstacle. Level pegging on the 14-stone sack. Forbes Cowan is in the lead after the first event. He's just creeping ahead, but Popov has made an impressive start too. And Forbes Cowan looking very good in these first two events. He's not as muscular and bulky as, say, Badenhorst, but he's very athletic and fast. Oh, Popov's dropped the mast. That's going to lose a lot of time, just as Arnason did. And Cowan is well away. Evgeny all at sea with the mast. Look at this. It's desperate for the Bulgarian. Now then, 2 wins in a row for the Scot would be incredible if he can just get this chain on board. He's done it. 54.1. That is incredible. And poor old Popov on the far side. Surely he's going to run out of time. Forbes sticking around to give his support. Badenhorst now sure of second place. The Bulgarian goes for the chain. Now 90 seconds is the time limit. His time for the anchor was slow, so he's down in about 5th place, so he needs to get this on board. Just 2 seconds left. He's out of time. It's round 2 to Scotland, and frustration for the Bulgarian.
And the moral of the story so far seems to be that Forbes not only has a brave heart, but a generous one when it comes to fellow competitors, and it hasn't lost him any points.
Evgeny Popov lost valuable points there, enabling Gerrit to jump into second, but that's not all the jumping the South African did in Mauritius.
On a visit to La Pirogue over on the west coast of the island, he was more than tempted to jump ship when we took him, his wife Olivia and Big Phil Martin deep-sea fishing. It all started brilliantly. Lovely day, the sun was shining. He had to have his photo taken with Paul, but there we are, that wasn't too bad. Everyone, in fact, was very jovial. A great day lay ahead. The lines were laid, and both men were all excited about a spot of wrestling with some monsters from the deep.
I'm very sorry, guys. This is my first trip into the deep sea.
Even losing his hat was funny, but soon Gerrit's massive sense of humour was to evaporate. Well, unfortunately, conditions have got a little bit choppy, and although I'm enjoying myself, everyone downstairs is a bit green, shall we say. They're not having a very nice time. So after all that, we're going home. To be honest, I didn't really mind. It gave the monsters from the deep a rest for another day, and I blame the guys for eating such huge breakfasts. Mind you, they'll need all the energy they've got for the next event set on the stunning lagoon at Lococo Beach, the Deadlift Hold, a car weighing nearly 250 stone plus passengers, which they must lift for the longest time possible.
So as Hjalti Arnason gets ready, I can tell you that the target has already been set. Phil Martin held on for 44 seconds and Bill Lyndon beat that with 55. Lifting straps are allowed to help the grip in this event.
Are you ready? Yep. Lift!
Up we go for the Icelander. And this event using almost the same muscles as Samson's barrow. There's no walking. You've just got to hang on for dear life. He's shaking just a little bit, and that noseband supposedly helping the breathing, but Arnason doesn't seem to be doing much of that at the moment. He looks solid as a rock there. He's going to go into the lead. Hjalti always getting the crowd behind him. He's going to go over a minute. He's in the lead. Now hang on, Hjalti. Just a little bit more. This is very, very good. Down it goes, 69.9. That's a great effort. Oh, don't get too carried away. There's one young boy with his muscle man memento from this year as we watch Evgeny Popov. And he's got a second place and a fifth to his credit so far, so he needs to finish in the top half of this contest to stand a chance of qualifying for the final. Now, I think we can assume that Cowan and Badenhorst, who are yet to go, are going to score highly here. So the Bulgarian needs something well over a minute to be in there with a chance. Badenhorst looking interested to see how this former Olympian can cope with the 1.5-ton car. He's certainly used to lifting very heavy weights in this sort of position with his weightlifting exercises. And 1 minute approaching fast. The other clock showing Arnason's lead. What a fantastic setting for this competition, and it's so hot out there. There's a lot of interest in this man, especially from Hjalti there, complete with his stopwatch. Look at this, he's gone into the lead. 73.48 seconds, so how about that? The lead, and he can finish no worse than third.
Badenhorst, South Africa.
Well, this man has always said he likes lifting heavy stuff, and now is his chance to show us all. There's Olivia, his wife, and Peter there, South African, one of the testers, just helping the straps. Away we go. Gerrit looking a little bit unsteady from the start. He needs to lock out those arms and the back and the legs. He's got a big target to chase, that's for sure. And look at this, the time to beat, 73 seconds, and he's closing on it all the time. He gave us a little scare early on. And the crowd going absolutely crazy. He's in the lead. Now, like Popov, he's used to this sort of lifting. The man from Bloemfontein is really hanging on grimly here. This is a tremendous effort. Olivia cheering her man. This is a magnificent time. Total commitment from Badenhorst. Oh, 99.19 seconds. That is one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in strongman. Even Forbes Cowan has to be a little bit impressed with that. 99.19 seconds. That is one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in strongman. Even Forbes Cowan has to be a little bit impressed with that. 99.19 seconds. That is one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in strongman. Even Forbes Cowan has to be a little bit impressed with that.
matter of, like they say in Afrikaans, vastbijt.
Yeah.
That's what it means.
Hang
in there.
That could have already taken you through to the final.
Yeah, that's what my aim was. I fell from 40 seconds, very hard, and well, it's just a matter of going through now.
Just one more to go. Forbes is right here.
Yeah.
It's a tough one to beat.
He must beat it. I doubt it, but that's what's going for it.
Forbes Cowan certainly looked a little stunned while Badenhorst was making his lift, and I have to say it looks as though he's fighting for second place now. Now, he wasn't looking forward to this initial lift here. It's going to be agonizing. He's so long in the back. He's a very tall man. And how much will that lift take out of him? He's not a great deadlifter, and he certainly doesn't like the sun. He's almost turning the same color as the car, but he is under control now, and that's important. Steady as she goes. He's getting close to 1 minute, so he's already gone past 2 men. Arnason is the next target on 69 seconds. Now come on, Forbes, hang on. Yes, he's got that place. He's gone past Arnason. Popov the next one on 73 seconds. He goes past him as well. 74.15. What a struggle, but what a performance.
Why do they do it to themselves? Seasickness obviously didn't affect Gerrit's performance, and he's making up that early lost ground very quickly now.
And that means that Forbes Cowan is now in the enviable position of a guaranteed place in the final. All he has to do is turn up for the last event.
I knew I had to come in within the first 2 to get to the final. And after like 40 seconds I couldn't hear anything. So my head was going numb, so I was just hanging in to a collapse really.
From deserted beaches, the capital of Mauritius, Port Louis, comes as a bit of a culture shock, but its busy harbour is the heart of the island. And believe me, the traffic stopped of its own accord when we showed up for the final event of Heat 2. The fierce fight for the second qualification in this heat takes place between Evgeny and Gerrit here in front of the Colonial Building in Port Louis. And a huge crowd has gathered to watch this battle of the giants. Now, event 4 is about the same as you'd find in your local gym, a leg press. Except the weight here is 10 girls, all right? Yeah! This is Peter, our tester. You're going to hold on tight, aren't you? Okay. Altogether, they weigh about 500 kilos, and that's what the men have got to lift. They've all been moaning that their legs are the hardest part of the body to work on, and obviously that's what they're going to be using this time. But to be honest, they're moaning about nothing. Some of their legs are as big as my waist.
Well, I can tell you that Forbes has already completed the required 1 repetition for the single point he needed, and Hjalti Arnason here almost burst doing 18.
Hi, Mom. You're right, I shouldn't have come.
Poor old Phil Martin. 10 repetitions and he's on his way back to the United States. So the next man we see is Bill Lyndon of Australia, and that pointer on the side of the machine, it must pass the black marker for the repetitions to count. Well, Bill gets away well. He's into a good rhythm already, and he looks very comfortable. Dougie Edmonds, the referee, counting, so the men know exactly what the target is. That's 10. It's a good score. Oh, that one is discounted, though. Just adjusts himself, and that one is discounted as well, but he's away again on 11. Evgeny Popov is the man to go next. And incidentally, Philippa, I've got news for you. This man's legs are at least 30 inches around. That's just a little bit bigger than your waist. Well, this is Bill's best effort so far. He won't make it through to the final, but he's certainly finished with a flourish. He's getting close to the 60-second time limit. He's on 22. That's a tremendous score, and Bill has done very, very well indeed.
Evgeny Popov, Bulgaria.
Evgeny Popov's last chance to make a bid for the final, which is almost an impossible task. He'd have to win this event, with Gerrit Badenhorst coming last. With Forbes only scoring 1, that's a major problem.
2, 3.
I don't think Bulgaria is going to have its first ever finalist, but I have to say this man has been extremely popular with the crowd and his fellow competitors. very modest, but very competitive. And his English has improved immensely as well. And one or two of the girls there looking a bit nervous. Gerrit feeling the strain just a little bit. Oh, that one was discounted. He's struggling. He's got 11 on the board. I think that's just about it. One more. Oh, it wasn't counted. That's it. 11 scored for Evgeny Popov of Bulgaria, and it's back to the drawing board, maybe for next year. Now, I assume this man has done his homework.
Badenhorst, South Africa.
He could just settle for a couple of repetitions to go through to the final, or he can even go for a higher total and win this week's heat ahead of Forbes Cowan. If he can beat Evgeny's total, he'll beat Forbes. So this one's for a bit of one-upmanship. Dougie Edmonds saying it must go beneath that black mark on the side of the machine. And it's a very easy start for Badenhorst. And you can even hear the machine creaking under the strain. We're going to say, don't try this in your local health club. He's not busting a gut, and he's even had time to wink at one of the girls on top of the platform. Well, some of the other competitors have certainly done their homework. They're shouting at him, saying, go for 12. If he gets it, and he's got it, he's the overall winner. Big cheers for Big Badenhorst, and it's South Africa and Scotland through to the final.
No pain, no gain. Surprises from Bill and Hjalti, who both pulled out the stops for this one, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough.
And it's confirmation that Scotland eased through with 2 individual wins for Forbes Cowan, and Badenhorst has done it yet again.
Now you're in the final again. How many times is it now?
This is my 5th final in a row, so
Looking forward to it.
yeah, very much. I hope this year I can pull it off without injuries.
Feels great to win the final. Last year I never made the final, and I've never felt that in my life. It feels a lot better this year. But the Claymore's been sharpened up this year, so there's going to be a few people chopped in a peg or two.
So, quite literally, a really grey finish for some at the end of that heat, but it's good to know we've got a Scot in the final, and it will be interesting to see the massive Gerrit have another crack at the title after he came so close last year. The man of the heat for me, though, was Evgeny Popov. He'd never even seen those events, and yet he gave it a really good try. I reckon he'll be one to watch next year. Next week, though, you watch us for Heat 3 back in Mauritius. See you then. Bye-bye. In fact, the world's strongest man is...
I'll be back.